Ribbit is one of the most mysterious characters in the digital circus right now. We don't really know much about him, but a lot of people are already sure we're definitely going to see him in one of the future episodes, and honestly, the latest official updates about this character keep giving us more and more proof of that. It all started back in episode 5 when we first got some info that such a character even exists, and then we finally saw what he looked like. After that, Ribbit instantly became topic number 1 among digital circus fans, and things got even crazier when Goose dropped the full concept art of this character. On top of that, we got a small glimpse of his emotions, which once again proved that this character is going to be important for the future storyline of the digital circus. But after that, things calmed down a lot, all the way up till the release of episode 6 when this topic popped up again in that very scene. If in episode 5 we were only getting hints about how important this character might be, then in episode 6 they straight up confirmed it by putting a huge spotlight on the door to his room. After that, the whole situation started blowing up, because one user on X noticed an interesting detail and asked Ribbit's gender was confirmed by Sean on the TIDC livestream today. But literally right after that, Michael Kovac shut this down, saying Sean totally said M, referring to them. But that's exactly where things started getting way more interesting, because another user asked Michael Kovac straight up, didn't Goose confirm Ribbit was he/him a while ago? And got this response, nope, Goose will say something vague, fans misinterpret it, and the fandom clings to the misinterpretation. I'm worried about fans being disappointed when certain things turn out to be misinformation, as if Goose lied when she never confirmed anything to begin with. What really got me hooked was this part of Michael's answer, because we remember the whole convo was about Ribbit being a boy, and most fans already see him that way. With his response, Michael kinda hinted that we shouldn't just spread the first thing that pops into our heads, because later on, it might turn out false. Pretty likely he was talking about Ribbit in that context, and when everyone finally finds out his actual gender, a lot of folks might end up disappointed since they already pictured him as a boy. All this once again proves Ribbit's gonna play a major role in the future episodes, which means his appearance is pretty much inevitable. On top of that, the voice actor for Zooble during one of the live streams said this.
Using knowledge I have of Ribbit that you guys don't have yet, Ribbit's smash.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So we already got a couple official confirmations that Ribbit's got a fleshed out backstory that's going to be revealed later, and if we put all this info together, then right now I'm 100% sure we're definitely going to see this character in the upcoming episodes, maybe even real soon. We're going to find out everything that happened to him way before the pilot episode, and how it messed with the future of the digital circus. But right now, I want to tell you one of those secrets. There were also theories that Jax himself had something to do with what happened, which is exactly why he's so good at dodging any mention of it. Jax is doing literally everything he can just to switch the topic, and that's pretty much where Ribbit's whole reveal in episode 5 ended. But after the episode dropped, we got a lil concept art showing Ribbit. Plus, way before episode 5 even came out, Goose already spilled some info that Ribbit abstracted not too long ago. There were tons of different theories about what really went down with Ribbit, but episode 5 was only the start of that story. Then in episode 6, we got some more hints about this character, and that's where things got real crazy, because in that same scene we also saw Kaufmo's door, and Jax, at least to me, seemed mad when he saw it, while his reaction to Ribbit's door was totally different. Remember how a couple months back I told y'all that theory that Pomni might kinda be Ribbit's reincarnation, since at first Pomni was supposed to be a frog, but then the creators switched her design to a jester. And if we draw that kind of parallel, it gets way easier to figure out what really happened to Ribbit even before the pilot dropped, and why Jax turned into such a jerk right after that. Let's go back to that Regatha and Jax convo scene.
I know exactly what you're doing with Pomni, and it'll never work!
Huh?
You know, getting close with Pomni. To corrupt her?
By this point, a lot of folks were already wondering why Regatha sounded so damn sure about Jax's intentions. What happened next only made all those theories and guesses even stronger, cause that kind of rage from Jax was totally uncalled for, which means Regatha once again managed to hit Jax right where it hurts. All this was a pretty long dive before the main story even kicked in, and if we bring back that parallel with Pomni, it's easy to see Ribbit was originally a real friendly and kind of character. But after meeting him, a lot of things changed. In one of my vids, I already told y'all how Jax used to have talks like that with Ribbit, and how it most likely had some irreversible impact on the Lil Frog. We can see this whole act and fake thing actually messes up the character's mental health real bad, and after meeting Jax, Ribbit, instead of keeping on being that same sweetheart he used to be at the very start of his life in the digital circus, decided to throw on a mask that totally went against who he really was. In the context of today's topic, it's crazy important to remember these words from Jax.
I do not care about you or anyone else in this circus in the slightest. End of story.
Now we get that all this stuff Jax says is just him trying to, keep up his mask that protects him from the nasty consequences that sooner or later are gonna mess with this bunny big time. On top of that, Jax does all this to keep everyone at a distance, and even though it's straight up fallout from losing his best friend, we can see that the seeds of this kind of behavior probably already existed in Jax back when he was friends with Ribbit. The bunny was living in the digital circus even before Ribbit showed up, and probably already witnessed a few other characters get abstracted. After getting close to Ribbit, Jax did everything he thought was right, not just to avoid turning into that kind of creature himself, but also to save his best friend from the same fate. On one hand, Jax was helping his friend, but I feel like it actually just made Ribbit's life harder. Still, because of his strong attachment to Jax, he couldn't say a word. Ribbit lived by the rules Jax set for him, totally ignoring his own wants, and even though he had fun sometimes, pretending like that slowly started driving the little frog insane. For a while, he kept listening to his so-called more experienced mentor, convinced it was the only way to survive in this digital space. Imagine being in Ribbit's shoes. You're naturally a kind soul, and for some reason, you end up in a place so unreal that you could literally lose your mind in a second. It's scary at first, but over time you start interacting with the others, and things seem kinda okay. Then Jax shows up and starts laying out everything that happened before you got here, and of course you freak out. He tells you there's this thing called an abstracted monster, and bit by bit, you start noticing more and more rooms of characters who've gone through it. After all that, your best friend tells you to find your archetype and then everything will be fine, so you listen and slowly start living that way. But we all remember what kind of character Ribbit really is, and now think back to Jax's entertainment. Ribbit totally knew this wasn't how it should be, but with Jax constantly preaching at him, he had no choice but to listen and do the same. This went on day after day, and of course that struggle between his mask and his real self couldn't just vanish without a trace, and slowly, Ribbit started noticing changes in himself. With each day, it just got worse and worse, and in the end, we all know where that led. By protecting him, Jax only ended up hurting his friend, and that's exactly why he's scared to make any new real friends.
We make such a good team.
I think he totally gets that Ribbit turning into an abstracted monster is completely on him, and that pain just keeps crushing down on Jax harder and harder every single day. Let's get this out of the way right away. The chance of Ribbit showing up as the actual living character we know is basically zero. After episode 5, I had this theory that weird mannequin could be Ribbit, but honestly, the more I think about it now, the less I buy into that. However, the fact that Ribbit is definitely going to play a major role in the new episode is already basically 100% confirmed. I'm totally sure that in episode 7 we'll see Jax's memories where Ribbit is the key character. That's where we'll learn the full truth about what really went down with him, and what's got me hyped just as much. They'll show us Jax before he turned into such a jerk. As usual, I'm looking forward to your thoughts in the comments, and see you in the next video.